And we are live. That's what Jack always says.
Yes, he does too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And we are live. Yeah.
We are live.
Here we are. Live.
Which one of us should introduce this? I don't know, Toolman Tim. Like, we're on everybody's channel.
I was just thinking that. Of course, I left the YouTube video open in the background and it started echoing. So I lost you for a second. But yeah, I know. How do you, we're in all the places, literally all the places.
So it turns out I have a Self Reliance Festival live stream that almost conflicts with Toolman Tim's regular Thursday live stream. So we split the difference and decided to just do one big thing, because then we could talk about each other's stuff on each other's show. So that's what today's show is. If you guys want to ask us any questions, put the first words in all caps so that blind Nicole can see it. That would be much appreciated. And we'll try to work them in. And then the lawnmower guy, the human lawnmower, is joining us. But the link, I emailed him the link and it got all messed up, and he'll be here. He'll pop in at some point. So we'll introduce John when he gets here.
Sounds good. The other day, so I have this entire mobile podcast studio now. It's like I have this knockdown backdrop so that I can live stream from hotel rooms, and it almost looks like it's here, right? And I'm pretty proud of it. And I've worked my ass off getting it up and running. And I was on the Casual Preppers podcast the other day. They were doing this new series they're doing. I couldn't get anything to work at all. Hey, there's the lawnmower man. How are you?
There's the lawnmower man. He's here.
Yeah, no, I had the feed going here while I was trying to figure it out. So I heard the human lawnmower comment. I was like, that's pretty awesome. Gonna have to roll with that.
I like it. Meticulous.com. And how do I pronounce your last name, John?
Athayde, at least in the States, that's how we say it.
Athayde.
Okay.
I finally learned not to spell it with an L this year.
Yes. How were you spelling it? Like with L in the
It was
front?
ALTH. I've typed it that way so many times wrong. Wrong.
Yeah.
So
it's all good.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So what were you talking about, Tim? And then we'll get to John.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so you know how you try to do your absolute damnedest to make sure you have everything in line, working perfect. Now I was lucky because Becky had her laptop with her as well. It did not matter what I did. I tried. I had audio issues from. I logged in. Everything was perfect. 10 seconds in, it all went to pot. Just horrible. So frigged and frigged. Couldn't get it to work. So just threw the laptop completely out. Not really, but get rid of it. Hooked up with Becky's laptop and all was good. But it's miserable when you think, I got everything on the go. I got everything running. And then all of this happened. So.
Yep. Studio challenges. Well, so John Athayde is a video dude.
Yeah.
So what you don't know about him is he's a video dude. He's a musician and he's a homesteader, and he does web development. He has many talents, but one of his talents is taking tall grass and tall weeds and making them shorter with a scythe. So tell us how one does that without ending up crippled in old age by messing up their back.
The good news about the tool is it's very hard to cut yourself when you're scything. Now, everyone else in the mowing path, that's a different story. But it is the only time you're likely to get a nick is when you're actually honing it or sharpening it and you have the blade in hand and you're doing one of these kind of numbers, right? But no, it's nice. I really started to do scything a lot more. I was using a good old handy steel weed eater, and I was starting to get tingling in the hands because I've got a lot to clear, and you're sitting there going back and forth, and it's vibrating a good amount. And started using the scythe instead. Got one out of Scythe Supply. I saw Justin Rhodes. I think I saw him do a video about it with a gentleman from up in Vermont or Maine or somewhere up in that neck of the woods. And I was like, that can't be that hard. And it's not that hard, but you do find out all the muscle groups you've been avoiding, especially in the this whole motion, the lateral twist. It's interesting because it's not. You see people coming in there and hacking and stuff like that. And that's not really what it's about. It's really a smooth motion, and it's not a lot of pressure there. But it is. You get through a workout, and you're like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna have that V coming in if I keep this up. So.
Okay, Jason Routboard says, that's a nice shirt. Second favorite snowbird. Whose shirt?
Yeah, I don't know, but
Which
mine,
one? Which one?
I love this one the other day when it showed up. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that one too. It's dirty. It's just in the laundry already.
I feel left out. Do I need to get some? I can get some Post-its and make an S and O and an E, and I think I'll.
Yeah, or make some snark. Just get a Post-it, put on your chest with a snarky statement.
Thinking about it. All right, I've got the Post-it at hand. So when ready.
Yeah. So we could crowdsource what John should put on his shirt with the Post-it. Just put it in all caps in the comments so we know you mean it to be the T-shirt snark for the evening.
I really think it should be some sort of early 90s looking Lawnmower Man poster with like his logo or something on it. That would be awesome. Yep. That would make my day.
Yep. I guess it would. John, it only counts if I make it.
That's a lot of work for one Post-it.
Makes good moonshine and good T-shirts.
Yes.
Only if you're using this kind of pen.
No, I've got a Sharpie though. I do have a Sharpie. I've got a variety.
These kind of smell good. This one's grape.
Oh, is that the Mr. Sketch?
Yeah.
Yes. Right there.
Let's go trumpet and
I'll go with
cut grass.
I like that one. Let's go with that.
I'm thinking keep off the grass, maybe.
Keep off my grass.
Yeah.
Hey,
man.
baby, stay off my grass.
There you go. Well, that makes my night. There we go.
Yeah, I was telling Toolman Tim we started filming the Hey Baby series today, which I'll give a spoiler about that. John, you know about this one, right? Where I'm being filmed saying, hey, baby, and then homesteading things. And today we did, hey, baby, you want to pluck my chickens? Want to graze my field? And then we showed the sheep.
I think those are going to do great. I really do.
Oh, they are. It's just the how many levels. You've got to get like that second or third order effect going, right?
Yeah, the trick is, so I just need a lot of snarky phrases. And I'm pretty good at coming up with snarky phrases. It's like every Monday over coffee, try to come up with 10 snarky phrases. But I'm also taking suggested snarky phrases at this point because I can tell you that having come up with 21 now, that it's getting harder the more there are.
As you walk around,
my jungle.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's a good one.
Oh wow! Yeah,
Are permanent markers not stinky anymore?
I don't know. I think the permanent ones typically have the whatever off-gassing thing is, right?
Oh, David Sigler. I love the man. I don't know how he comes up with it.
I saw a man slumped over his lawnmower crying he was going through a rough patch. That was excellent. Okay.
Yeah, he's the pun master. That is true. Okay, so let's talk about poverty mindset. I know you talk about that all the time, Tim. And we're going to be talking about that at the Self Reliance Festival. Must be nice that you're able to come there, right? What are you looking to achieve with that presentation?
Well, it's funny. I spent a couple hours yesterday kind of tweaking because, you never really, it's the same, but it's different. You know how it is. How's that old saying go? But I think in preparedness and in homesteading and, living off the grid, all of that, at least for me, I have, I forget how many there are, pillars of preparedness, and each one represents one of the letters, and E is for entrepreneurship, because I think for someone to find freedom, they need to have at least a little taste of entrepreneurship in their life. I think, a full-on taste, like the full meal deal, baby. But I get it. Not everybody wants the full meal deal of entrepreneurship, but you need something to, as a fallback or as just because what I find once you get that bite of independence, heaven help you. And so for me, we never, ever would have been successful in entrepreneurship. We wouldn't have been able to do the shit we wanted to do all the way through COVID if we hadn't have murdered that poverty mindset many, many years ago, or at least started the process so that we could do all this cool shit that we're doing now. And hopefully that can rub off on people when, when I get my 45 minutes at Self Reliance Festival. That's what I want people to see, because when it comes down to it, sometimes you don't even realize you're in it. You've just kind of walked around in a fog and you think, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And then you realize, shit, no, I'm really part of the must be nice crowd. I look at other people, and instead of, well, that's really nice, you say, well, must be nice. You could even say the same damn words, but you can mean it in two different ways. And if you don't realize, if you just sit around and think, oh yeah, my boat will come in someday, or my train will come in. Well, no, it won't. You don't sit there and wait for it. You got to make your own luck. And hopefully I can at least inspire people a little bit, because it was something that, we struggled with for many years. I've told my story so many times, and we were on the verge of bankruptcy, on the verge of, just packing it all in at one time or another. And taking those first baby steps to kill the poverty mindset certainly helped.
It's funny because I didn't kill it all at once. I just take bites out of it.
Sure.
Like, I remember it seemed completely out of my reach to buy a $10,000 to $20,000 roaster 5 years ago.
Yes.
And that has changed, where I'm like, if I need a $10,000, $20,000 roaster, I'm going to get one, because then that means I have the sales that require the production, to do it. So at that point, it's no longer like, how am I going to get this done? Or I could never do that, so I need a $3,000 roaster, right?
You don't settle anymore, right? You figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. If it's necessary to the success, then we figure out how to do it. And I think that can be really hard for people to get their heads around. So
there's no simple solution to any of it. I say it to hopefully not discourage people, but for us, the big part of it, so you talked about how you took little bites, and there's actually a part of my presentation where I talk about it's, baby step, baby step, baby step, and then all at once. It's like it's that 10-year overnight success, right? You do all these things in the right way, you don't see a whole lot of results, and then all of a sudden, hopefully you get that 45-degree growth curve all of a sudden. And that's what it is. You make one choice. Well, okay, today when I wake up, no matter what I see, I'm going to be happy for other people. No matter how much success they have, no matter, how many shit sandwiches I had to eat this week, I'm still going to be happy for them, because that's the first mindset. And when you can swap it, when you can go from looking down your nose at other people and thinking, oh yeah, whatever, that would be nice, all kidding aside, to, yeah, that is nice. Good for them. That's the first step. And then changing other things, instead of going from I can't or I won't to how can I, or is this worth it? Those are two other mindsets. And it's real easy to slide back. There's still times where you just, I can't do this. And thank God I have a significant other who occasionally kicks me in the butt and says, yeah, no, honey, you can. You absolutely can. But
go do it.
Yeah, you have to. You got to have somebody. You know what I mean? That because try to do it all by yourself, and it can be tough.
And you go back and forth on cheerleading, right? It's you just hope you're both not having the bad day on the same day.
Right. Yeah. We kind of do that. I think we refuse to both. There's times where both of us are having that bad day, but I think one of us just chooses to fake it. We're like, no, I'm good.
You got it. Cause it's like, okay, they're worse off than me. I'll suck it up today. And then maybe tomorrow they'll be better and I can wallow for a little bit. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for us, we are in the process of opening up that second daycare, the one that we just kind of mentioned in passing at the LFTN spring workshop. And we've actually had 2 properties fall through that we at least put the first one wasn't really an offer, but we had a verbal agreement on it, and that one fell through. The second one we actually had a written offer on, and last minute somebody threw another offer in and took it out from under us. And you take those 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and Becky's like, yeah, no, that's it. Not really. We're not giving up, but you feel like giving up, right?
Right.
And then just back at the grind, and now we have a third property. So you really have to make those choices. Am I gonna, let the world beat me down and say, yeah, you know what? Because it's only failure if you decide to stay there. And that's what's happened with us. And that's when I changed my mind because there was lots of times in the past when I would be, that's failure, and I just walk away from it. And now, you know what? That might be a great big boulder in the road, but we're going to climb around it, walk around it. What are we going to do?
Yeah, real estate's notorious for that too.
Oh, it's awful. And the market's pretty hot up here. So, you kind of got to jump on things. But it's just a matter of keep talking, keep looking, keep moving. If you're not sure what's going to work for you, keep trying things. Eventually you'll find the thing that is working. And that's where we ended up. And the cool thing is this third property is the best one of the three, but we wouldn't have got it if the first two hadn't have been pulled out from under us. So remember that, because there's going to be days you're going to wake up and shit's going to go sideways, but sit down, take a breath, wait a few minutes, and then keep going. That's usually the best thing that we've been able to do with it.
Yeah, do something.
Right.
Bias action.
That's kind of what I've gotten to, is do something when you're running into lots of barriers. And this is kind of my mantra between now and Self Reliance Festival, is do something. It's like, okay, I don't have the photo of that particular speaker, so I'm going to get this speaker promoted and out or whatever. And it's what happens.
That happens all day long. And because Meticulous is creative services, right? So you send something off to a customer and it's like, well, I could stare at the screen here for an hour, or I could scroll some Insta, and you're like, no, I've got 15 other things in a list here. And I am a gross violator of my 3 things. I will say that up front. But it's because there's so many little things that have to move forward. And then like the bigger projects, you can think about the bigger projects. And when I'm working on the homestead, I'm trying to tackle the big ones. But especially with the client service stuff, you're like, it's a lot of 15, 30-minute returns. And boom, that goes right back out. And then it's on to the next thing, because I can clear 10 to 20 of those in a day. Or I could clear one and sit here and go, well, I'm waiting on that client. Why can't I get anything done?
I find, so that was, somebody asked the other day how to stay motivated, and there's no real answer to that. But we spent 3 days away at the city. We do this every year with the kids before school starts. And I kind of came home in a funk. Just, it happens. You just didn't feel like doing anything, And because I had too many things to do. I think I had about 4 phone calls for property management while I was gone. Simple things that could be dealt with on Monday. And I didn't feel like doing anything. I just kind of wanted to curl up in a ball and not do it. But instead, I just told my ass, okay, get up, start moving, go and do one thing. And you know what? I had those 4 things done in 2.5 hours. But if I'd have said her, I could have easily, screwed the pooch for the entire day and come out the other end and thought, oh, there we are. And I'm not saying I do that all the time, but that when I remember to do that, that's when I get shit done.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself on the, I know a lot of us are undiagnosed, but do you find yourself you're somewhere on the ADD spectrum?
Yeah, I think so. It's funny because as a kid, I was never, not diagnosed or anything like that. And I was hyper really young, but that didn't really go along with it. But, oh yeah, I'm the, oh, look, a squirrel type guy a lot, but I can hyper focus really, really well, but I have to get that in and do it. My son, he struggles with it a lot too. He's an adult now. I wouldn't say that mine's as bad as his, but yeah, we have it. Yeah. It's that I can hyper focus and just do something, but I can also, and maybe this, I was talking to another person in the workshop community the other day, and they said they had their words were, they personally have a really mean, lazy streak. But that person is one of the people that I would consider the hardest working, most get shit done type of person that I know. And I think that goes part and parcel with this entire lifestyle. The freedom of, self-sufficiency and entrepreneurship. You've got both the freedom to do whatever you want, but the responsibility that you have to do something. You don't have a boss telling you. And so, yeah, you can slide into it. And I still do sometimes. But yeah, so yeah, I'm really, I'm really good at when 3 words will do. I can fill in 15 minutes for you, John. So yeah, there you go.
Well, you describing that I often find the the object in rest tends to stay in rest, right? And the object in motion tends to stay in motion. And
Yep.
if I'm at rest, dear Lord, I have to trick myself to get into motion. And that is you can do this for 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes go by and all of a sudden I'm cleaning the kitchen, I'm cleaning the bathroom, I'm scrubbing the floors. But if I didn't get up in the first place and just say 5 minutes, just break that at rest thing, it would never have gotten done. And it applies to anything, any chore, any project. It's so easy to be like, yep, well, I'll get to that in a little bit. And then, you just got to start right now, and then it's easy. But the starting is always the hard part.
100%. Yep, I agree.
And the hyper focus 30-day reviews says, hyper focusing can be bad when it stops your ability to get anything else done.
Right.
The thing I most hyper focus on when I hyper focus, which probably lends to it being distasteful to me, it's distasteful to me for many things, many reasons, is tax preparation.
I was going to say QuickBooks.
No, I'm using zero now. But it's like tax preparation because I'm completely in the coding in my head. And when I walk away from the coding in my head, it's still thinking about it. So like I've been doing that. I go to choir and I introduced a new person. Her name was Kathleen. I introduced her as Teresa. And she's like, no, I'm Kathleen. I'm like, okay, so Teresa. I did it twice. And everybody's just cracking up. And I'm like, wow, I am not connected to the world at this point. So yeah, so when you're distracted easily in that scatter mode, I think you see big picture things. You'll see patterns other people don't see. So I think it's actually having that happen in your mind is helpful if you're somebody who wants to pursue an independent lifestyle, as long as you can figure out how to trick yourself into getting stuff done along the way, because you need to complete things. So that scatter mode, you see trends that other people wouldn't see, and you figure out solutions to problems that other people wouldn't figure out. And I think that's why success will build behind you. But then you also hyper focus sometimes. And when you hyper focus, like you get things done that nobody else can get done in a period of time that's relatively short. But I don't know what you guys do. I find myself having to manipulate myself. Like I'm literally like the evil little child manipulating myself to get things going sometimes.
100%. All the time.
So I want to talk about that. Let me talk a little on the hyper focus too, though, because when you talk, I don't know how to explain it, but like there's like a buzzing in my brain when I'm hyper focused. Like you said, I bet your brain was still on taxes, even if you weren't necessarily being, even if you didn't know the taxes were beating around in your head, they were still there. And I haven't found an easy way to stop that other than to scratch that itch eventually, either to complete it or wait until my brain ends up not being interested anymore. Sometimes it can take 2 days, sometimes it can take a month, but I've also realized that I think the most successful people and the people that actually do great things in their life have to become hyper-focused on something. You have to become passionate to the exclusion of many other things if you really want to do something. You can do a whole bunch of little things and never really find success, but if you want to find it, you gotta settle in on something eventually. Otherwise, you'll end up being 80. Well, if you're lucky to live to 80 and look back and think, I was busy, but I didn't get much done.
Right. Running in every direction fast gets you, you stay put. But the multitasking thing that David Siegler here is posting, I think there bears a little discussion, because I know when I was 20, I could actually multitask, and it was the weirdest thing. I could actually sit there and have a conversation with you and be typing something entirely different, and I had double threading, or maybe it was just really fast bouncing back and forth, but both things actually worked. Now I could only do that for a little bit of time. I try to do that now and I'm just like, what? Huh? Mm-hmm. No, it's not. I mean,
what?
Yeah. 20 years will do that to somebody, but there's a little bit of that it's not, and these things come and go. And so one thing I notice now is that we're talking about the hyper focus. I'm afraid of hyper focus in a weird way. Like I know if I start working on one of my personal coding projects, dear Lord, I'll be up till 3 a.m. And so when it's 10 or 11 o'clock at night, I'm like, ooh, and I'm like, nope, I am going to close the laptop, because if I start, I can't stop. And so there's almost that, you know, because unfortunately, when I was, again, pre-children, that was no problem. But now I have a 4-year-old that comes in and says, Daddy, I want breakfast at 6:30, no matter how late I stayed up or how late she stayed up or any of the other kids. You know, that's our youngest. But it's like, so I can't, there's a trade-off that happens where you got to be like, all right, I need to put this body to rest so this body can do what it needs to do tomorrow. But the hyper focus it's a good skill, and it's a blessing and a curse kind of thing.
It's a double-edged sword. I was just yesterday, so I kind of skipped about an
Little chop.
Okay, is that him or me?
I'm seeing it too.
Okay, Tim, your internet gave you a slap on the side of the head. So start that whole story over.
Yesterday.
Yep. I don't know what happened. Anyway, I had 2 hours to work on my SRF presentation. And I know if I don't start doing them like now, then by the time I get on the road, I won't enjoy the prep work near as much. So I had an hour and a half. I scheduled it in, and I knew my brain was going to go into deep prep mode. That's just where I go. But the downside to that is I can get a little ugly if I get interrupted. And I don't mean to be that type of person. It's just when I have my day scheduled for things that require that kind of work, if there's something that somebody needs help with, I tend to not want to be the person that helps other people at that time. And that's just truth and honesty. You know, you get deep into that, and it's almost like I can't quite check my brain off to go do something else. And the other thing is, if I do, I'm hooped. So, you know, if I've got an hour and a half to focus on something, I need that hour and a half. If I break it up at the 45-minute mark, I might as well not go back because I'm not getting any more done. I don't know why I'm that way. That just is how it works for me.
That's not uncommon. This is a maker time versus manager time. I don't know if you've ever heard this analogy before. It's when makers like to get into deep thought, and usually if I kind of describe it as I'm working with a mental model and I'm hanging all this stuff up in the air, you know, my virtual brain, right? And if someone comes over and says, "Hey, quick question," all of that falls to the ground.
That's fair.
And I'm like, all right. And they're like, am I bothering you? I'm like, well, you are now. Let's get it done. And then, you know, you start back over. And you're like, all right, that was here. This was here. This was here. So it takes you, every interruption is not the interruption. It's the interruption and the time to get back to where you were, which can be like 30 minutes, right? So I used to work at Living Social back in the day, you know, a decade ago. And the office in DC was a big, giant open floor plan. Massive, and it was all hard surfaces. So you can imagine Nicole's face right now. She's just like, I'm in pain and I never went. So everything was echoey, cavernous. And I mean, you could just see all the designers, all the engineers, boom, headphones. I mean, as some of us started putting up cardboard to block the visual too, because it was just people moving everywhere and walking around. And you had sales and you had product managers and people that, to them, having a bunch of 30-minute meetings blocking up their calendar, that's an amazing day. And for me, that is hell on earth.
Right.
So it's interesting, especially when you have a whole bunch of 20-somethings that don't know, like they don't understand the dichotomy of other people are different than me. You know, it's like, oh yeah, we're just collaborating, we're working, it's great. And it's like, why didn't you get that done? Well, I've been in meetings nonstop for 4 days, you know, and so that's the kind of thing. So it's the maker versus manager time right there. And when you get into that mode, I'll snap sometimes too in the same way, because I'm like, I'm in here and I'm almost done. Dad, can you get me a sandwich? I'm like, dude, you know where the bread is? You know where you know? And it's like, I don't mean to get testy, but I'm like, everything just fell to the ground. And I'm like, son of a gun, I got to start over on that.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, John. I hadn't heard that maker's time before, but that's exactly what it is. 100%.
That's really a good, that falling to the ground analogy I love, because that's why, so it took me 4 weeks to get the Self Reliance Festival agenda done. 4 weeks. And the reason it took 4 weeks is I couldn't do it 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. I literally had to have 2 monitors. I had Post-it notes. I knew who was which on which day. Like, I had to sit down and gronk it out without being interrupted. And I did that yesterday. And then I had to lay it out on the website. And like, once I got to the website part, it wasn't as big a deal because I have the spreadsheet now. And that doesn't mean things don't move, right? That's not going to cause me to be tragically upset. It's just like getting the whole shape together it takes me a long time to hold those things up in the air. So I love that.
And once that shape's put together, then I can come back and edit. You know what I mean? But it's that holding it all together, whether it's a house of cards or whatever, or maybe a puzzle. You know, I used to do a lot of puzzles, and the puzzle was never really completed until it was glued. You know, until you put the glue on the back of the, you know, because there was a time my cat came in and knocked that 1,500 piece puzzle right off the table, right?
Yeah.
So until everything's glued in place. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I get that. That's good.
That's very true. And it is that it's like you almost take a snapshot. You get it to a point where you can take a snapshot and then you can restart from that point, right? And it's not, but getting to the snapshot phase, and that sometimes is a physical artifact, sometimes it's just a mental resolution. Like I solved X, Y, and Z, and I know that is now foundational to build upon. But getting to there is, you got to have that focus time.
It's kind of like when you're designing a website and you're like, what needs to be on the homepage? And you have all these elements. You're like, how is that going to look on this and on a screen? And how can I make those things come to life? And then you sketch it out on one of these pieces of paper. And then you finally get like, I think I showed you and I did one for the homepage where I was like, we got to do something with the homepage differently. And you sent me like this really nice drawing. And I was like, that's great. This is what I drew. And it was like 3 boxes across the top of a piece of paper written with a sketch it pen. And I was like, that's exactly what I meant, John. His is I
was like, yeah, that's where I was going too. I mean, I went to architecture school, so I have a tendency to draw really. I'm doing it on sketch paper. It's in the house right now, but it's just a roll. Here's an actual architectural drawing, but like this is just, you know, it's like see-through paper, and you just literally sit there and scribble with the pen, and the fatter the pen, almost the better. And what's so cool about this when you're doing design stuff, and this can apply to anything. I mean, it could be a chicken coop, it could be your rotation, it could be your garden plot for the year, it could be a website. But everybody's pretty comfortable with pen and paper. So for collaboration, you know, if you're in a tool and it's some specialized tool, CAD is a great example, right? Lots of detail. I don't know what all these buttons do, dear God. Okay, yeah, but here, what do you want? How do you want your kitchen to go to your dining room? Oh, well, I want to walk like this through here, and I'd love to have this here because the kids always got to go to the bathroom, but I want my pantry here, and you know, you got a bubble diagram. Great, I've got adjacency. We just solved that problem, and we didn't have to go into a very precise tool. So for me, scribbling, sketching, it's like the best place to start. Everyone's pretty comfortable with it, and it's a great way to have a shared understanding on anything you're working on.
Well, I'm glad I was on the show with you, John. Lots of great ideas.
I'll send you a roll of trace paper. It'll be good. You'll be like, oh.
But you're right.
Trace paper is the next prepper must have.
I love, sketching things out, making lists, putting some pen to paper in any instance makes it real. I love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, Dawn Gorham is in the house.
Hello, Dawn. There was someone a ways back, Nicole, that talked about outsourcing material or projects and time. It was a ways back.
Somebody said they outsource all of their tax preparation and just earn more money to pay for it.
I like that.
100% do it.
I am working towards that right now. The issue is that you still have to communicate to the person doing your tax prep what the expenses are.
Right.
And so I am setting up rules that automate that so that they can figure it out better. Now, John Willis has found a unicorn where he can give them piles of receipts and they just figure it out.
Wow.
So that's cool for him.
I still have the slog through the bank statements, sometime in February as I'm rapidly trying to get everything to the accountant. But our accountant's great, for doing the farm, because we do a Schedule F, right? So we got the farm, I've got my LLC, we have my wife's LLC. I'm part of a couple other businesses that come in on 1065s, and she does all of that for less than 500, which is, it's not cheap. But it's not this I've heard some crazy the accountant wanted $8,000 for this, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's one of her assistants doing it. I mean, she probably is just yep, I checked it off, I stamped it. She does that's it's but it's still, I mean, it's great.
Really
and
cheap.
it saves me the headache. And I know that it's, the biggest thing, right, is like if I miss something on there, right, then the IRS comes and makes you very unhappy, right? But with the accountant, that's their license, they're stamping it saying this is good to go. So there's a little bit of a one less thing to worry about. It's kind of worth that tax for me. I don't know.
Yeah. And yes, the easy answer is use John's unicorn accountant. I would have to have all my receipts in the bag for that. So that's totally possible.
By the door when you walk in.
This year, but for last year, it's just a longer story. It's a problem of my own making that I am solving.
We've run into that again with the daycare. That's been a huge learn because that's a way bigger business than we've ever ran before.
Sure.
And so, you know, and everything that we've built, Becky's built from scratch. And so she's struggled for a long time wanting to outsource things because, you know, so we recently gone to like a payroll company that takes care of that. That has made, every time we outsource something else, we never, ever regret it. And if we do, we just find a better option for it. But it's worked out. That Opus.pro that I was talking to you about earlier.
Oh, I love that.
Nicole. So I realized the thing that I love the best, and okay, so I better back up. So people who don't know what that is, it is
Opus clip.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. So it takes your videos and it turns them into reels, shorts, TikToks, whatever you want to call them, using AI. And it's damn good. And it's not that expensive. I had was working with a company that wanted to charge multiple thousands of dollars to do the same thing. The stuff that comes from there is every bit as good as what was coming from them. And so the best part also is there's no collaboration. I throw the video up there, it outputs the end product, and then I can make a few changes to it. There's none of this, hey, I'd like this to look green. And then, you know, if they're in the same time zone or whatever it happens to be, 6 hours later, they're like, hey, how's this look? No, not that green, this green, right? So it takes 90 to 95% of the work from me, and then I just tweak it at the end. And that has been one of the best outsourcings I've done yet.
That's awesome. Yeah, is this the one you've been using, Nicole, for the
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought she had hired someone to do that because I saw it and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. They got the text going with it all. I mean,
it's simple. It works. I've had the best luck on YouTube and on Instagram Reels. Probably my last 12 Reels, I think 10 of them have had over 1,000 views. So
yeah, I got 2,000 views on my last, although I made that one without Opus Clip, but 2,000 on my last YouTube one.
But it's wonderful. I think I've gained about 100 subscribers this month via shorts. So I look, for me, I'm not going after the high production value shorts. I'm looking at basically them being advertisements or bite-sized pieces of my content that hopefully brings people over into my longer content. And it's working. It's not, you know, you won't get millions of followers doing it that way, but it's working for what I want.
I'm going to address this issue of people only seeing about 10% of the comments in the live feed. Here's what's going on. This is streaming to the Self Reliance Festival channel on YouTube. It's streaming to Toolman Tim's channel on YouTube. It's streaming to Living Free in Tennessee on YouTube. And it's streaming to Special Operations Equipment on YouTube, which means we've got 4 channels streaming. And so if somebody says something on another channel and you see me highlight it, that's why I'm highlighting all the comments on the screen so you guys can actually comment back across channels. That's why. Restarting won't fix it.
Nope.
Good to know.
Yeah, so back to the Opus Clip thing. Before we started, I was talking to Toolman Tim about, like, my goal this year has been to get better momentum in social outreach and expand the network, and I'm not there yet. And so the thing I've started most recently is putting more shorts out on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I am getting more comments and interaction, which is good. But I had a meeting with somebody about what volume to start with. And they recommended 3 videos in the morning to 4 videos in the morning, and then 3 to 4 in the afternoon. So that's like 6 to 8 videos a day. And I choked on my beer. I wasn't drinking beer, but I choked on my fizzy water. And I was like, okay, well, if that's what it's going to take, I need to think about how to do that. And 2 days later, Toolman Tim sends me a link to Opus Clip.
I was so excited.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I'll give this a try. And I do the free trial of it. And I produce like 5 videos off a 35-minute video like that. And I was like, take my money. Just I bought a whole year's worth of, I didn't even mess around with a month-to-month subscription. I was like, nope, I'm confident I can make this work for a year. And then I timed how long it took me to use that tool. So, and I was telling him this before, it took me a total of 4 hours to analyze 3 big live stream shows, pull out the clips from it with Opus Clip, make any edits on typos in the captions, which happens when captions are auto-generated, and then download them and schedule them on various social media for the whole week. This was 3 videos a day, only in the morning, that I was doing. And then also write the descriptions for each one and have the tagging and the hashtags and tagging people and that sort of thing. Took me 4 hours for 15 videos. That's about 15 minutes of video. Which, some people would be like, man, that's too much time. It's not too much time if it yields results in the long term. And 15 minutes of video is way better than what it was taking me to do a short before.
Yeah. What was a short?
Like 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so this is what happened with me is I was getting really good momentum on TikTok, but I didn't have the drive, or I wasn't making the time to do the short form because I was seeing really good results with my long form. I love doing long form. So eventually I was getting burnt out on doing short. So I just give it up. There was about a 4-month period where I barely put any short form content out there. And yeah, did it hurt me? Sure it did. Yeah, whatever. But it was probably going to be, it was an either or for me. And the long form was making the money. So I wasn't going to do shorts. And then that company contacted me and I was going to go with them. And then I started, they didn't work out very quickly. So then I went to Fiverr for a couple of weeks. And then shortly after Fiverr, I found Opus, and that changed my life. It really did. Like it has upped the because I don't know if you remember the last time you and I and John were on a live together. John said, you put 4 pieces out a day. And I'm like, fuck, I can't put 1 out a day.
Now his guys are saying 8.
Sure, yeah. So for me, 2 in the morning now, 2 at night, every day. And it seems to be working. Instagram's growing, YouTube's growing, TikTok, I'm getting lots of views. I haven't got a lot of growth over there yet, but I think they're punishing me for not putting stuff up for like 4 months. Not really, but Maybe. It is what it is.
Well, and here's the feedback. That's way too much volume. And while I understand it would feel like that, what the data says, like the person who told me 8 pieces of content built a channel in, I think, less than 6 months to over 1 million subscribers with it.
Right.
And they did testing for time of day. And it was just, I was like, okay, that's what, it was like literally, how did you do this? And they told me how they did it. And I was like, oh, okay. That's why other people don't get that done. And because you have to do all that.
The reason I'm doing this too is part of it is I want to become background noise on these platforms. Do you know what I mean? I want people to just be like, oh yeah, that's the guy with, the boonie hat with the workshop logo on it. And they're going to see me. And, it might take 8, 10, 30 times for them to see me before they decide they want to check out my content. But you know what? There's a ton of podcasters on TikTok at the moment that I know them by seeing them or hearing their voice, but I don't yet know who they are, or I haven't followed them deeply, but I know I like their content. There's a guy that he does old-fashioned books, like vintage things, and he has like a vest and a hat and everything. I recognize him. Or there's the dude that's always interviewing millennial or Gen Z girls, and he kind of tears down their philosophy, and then they go back. I see them all the time, and that's what I want to become, is kind of in the algorithm and always there, so that you get recognized as one of those people, and then that I'm trying to build that foundation for sure.
Yeah, I think I saw one comment come through. Somebody who said that the editing is what does them in. And what I realized with the short form stuff, you don't edit. You want to figure out a way that either using something like Opus, or I literally pull this thing up, I film something and it has mistakes and it's messy and it's only 90 seconds and I post it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, and I figured out you pause the video on your phone and then change the angle and do something else.
Oh.
So like when I'm doing the cooking ones, I'm like, this is how I cook the thing. Pause, do the thing, because nobody wants to watch you actually do the thing that takes 20 minutes. Okay, and then you pop it back out. This is the next step, and you start it again. And every so often I'll accidentally hit stop instead of pause, but that feature on the phone is what allowed me to start doing the cooking videos that I had been talking about doing for 10 months.
Yeah, and the YouTube Shorts, I haven't used TikTok, so I don't have time.
I get it.
But YouTube Shorts, you can film a bunch of little videos and then actually have it stitch it together and do your quick, your edit. I'm going to say it's not really an edit; it's an assembly. But you can
mess with that.
You drag in, So I'll film a little video. I did this with it was canning or something. I basically was like this, then this, and it was I did get some interesting feedback because I was just putting words up and stuff. People were like, "Don't cover up your prime subject." I'm like, "I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I'll fix it." People got really I'm like, "Thanks for the feedback." I mean, they were nice about it. I was like, "Thanks for the feedback." I mean, it seems, and that's right when Shorts came out. So I think it's definitely still have duds. Yeah, and you know what? But volume. Taylor Swift doesn't write. Well, maybe she does write a pop song every time she picks up the guitar. But I guarantee you, she has a pile of songs that never went anywhere, and she's like, maybe later, raw material, something else. But you got to go through and write, and you got to clear out all that stuff. And so just film. You'll get better. I mean, heck, look at Spirko, and you listen to the stuff in the Jetta, which is hilarious because I was listening to that when it was in the Jetta, and I didn't think it was all that bad. And I go back and listen. I'm like, this is awful. It sounds horrible. The quality is crap. And he'll even tell you the same thing. He's like, yeah, that it's like a mic and like a headset mic, and I'm going down the George Bush Expressway screaming at people, right? But you know what? There was compelling content there, and it was daily. It was always there, and he was improving as a presenter, and it was compelling enough for me to stick with it.
And he is the king of telling people to just start doing something.
Yeah, you just got to start doing something, man.
And that works for everyone, because how many people do you, I don't know. And if you get, I have a certain few people that will send me an email every 6 months looking for advice on how to do something. And then 6 months later, they'll look for advice on how to do something, but they never really did anything with the last bit of advice, because they didn't start moving. They got that analysis paralysis or the toolbox fallacy. And that's what it is. But if you get your feet moving, yeah, I mean, I joke. You can go back and look at the very first video I put up on YouTube, and I it looks like one of those Taliban videos, or that they used to film in an underground bunker with one light hanging above it, and and they would hold up a newspaper.
We all have our hostage video moment, Tim. It's okay.
Yeah, but I'm good. It doesn't bother me a bit. Even I went back, even watching my review videos from like 18 months ago. I'm like, damn, I was so dull. How did anybody listen to me? But that's what happens. You get better with everything.
Okay.
We're always our worst critics too.
Sure.
It's totally true. So guys, we have to wrap right at the hour mark.
Oh, okay.
Or if we're going to keep going, I got to get off the SOE channel. So just
12 minutes or 11 minutes.
But I do want to show the thing I'm most proud of today, my accomplishment for the day. The October 2023 agenda is at selfreliancefestival.com/agenda. And look at this. We've got 2 tents this time. So I named one the circus tent and one the greenhouse tent. And then in the garage, we have more intensive hands-on stuff going on. So we're starting out with underground networking, lock picking, wild edible walks. And we've got sewing going on in the garage and dissolving illusions, which is an add-on workshop, building your niche business, how to have a family milk cow without losing your mind, hemp homes, the new Earth Haven village model. You're going to like this one. How to get and keep a redneck.
I like that one.
Navigating a world with AI. So Opus Clip is an AI tool that we were just talking about. girls, guns, and other topics from Dana. We'll do a lot of like connecting people to people. So we're going to just ask you to raise your hand if you're from different places to meet up with each other at the event. How to become a millionaire the slow, hard way.
The right way.
Yeah. And he said he is going to bring in some very current things that have happened. Food preservation from Grumpy Acres. I saw Yoda was on. No one is coming to save you from John Willis. And then we're doing a badass bitches of homesteading panel. Amanda Willis, Angela Allard, who's from Grumpy Acres, Dawn Gorm, and Nicole Sauce. And I didn't ask any of these ladies except for Amanda if they do it. I just put their names on there for them. So hopefully they're okay with that. Renegade Butcher and Backwood Butcher are having a butcher contest on Saturday, and then we're cooking it. There's going to be dinner and social hangout, and then the music that night. We're doing an album launch party for Slave to Servant. And so they'll be playing, Testimonial will be playing, and Sauce might be playing. We're still talking about that. I'm trying to Shanghai John into playing guitar.
Oh yeah. You already did. Now the question is, do I bring the pedal board or do we just go acoustic? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a great question. We could talk about all that. Sunday, we're going to have more underground networking, opting out of the abusive medical system, more sewing. Gretchen Catherwood's going to come and talk about what she's set up with the Dark Horse Lodge to help combat veterans heal. Louise Milliman's going to do living off grid, advanced wound care. Dean Dupree is going to come in and do developing mental toughness with 75 hard. That was a requested session that somebody wanted me to do, and I'm on the agenda too much. And I was like, who else could do it? Dean, can you do this? Because I think you'd be good at this, because he's got a way better story than mine about how he's turned his life around. You're going to love it. Small game trapping, destroying the poverty mindset. That's you. Joel Salatin, the lunatic farmer. He's probably going to talk about the homestead tsunami. How to build a cancel-proof website. Journey to the Unknown Life. Lessons from my year as a nomad. That's from our friend Brian Alexovich of the Lots Project. And then we'll be talking about what's next. Why aren't you on here, John?
There I am. I'm on Greenhouse 10, day one.
Yeah.
Yep.
There he is.
Yep.
And I probably will end up just doing ongoing. If someone's like, hey, man, I missed your thing. Can you show me? I'd be like, yeah, let's go side.
Yeah, so I have you, and I have a couple other people who are doing stuff like that on there. Just sort of in a place to kick off from, and then hopefully people will come and, see you throughout the weekend. We've got great demonstrations also going on. Somebody just reached out to me who's going to show us how to make vinegar.
Ooh.
And salves. We've got cheese making. We've got lock picking. We've got the dog demonstrations from Joel Riles. Distilling for tinctures. Medical treatment center will be there. The Allards have a whole host of food preservation stuff that they brought last time. Tactical's going to do how to grow food with water. So
that's usually a good thing to have when you want to grow food.
Yeah.
And is that an aquaponics thing or what is it?
Yeah, it's a hydroponics system for growing. Like, it's a smaller scale thing where you can grow food all winter long in it.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, can you demo that? He was like, we got to start plants now.
If SRF keeps growing the way it is, you're going to have to go to like 3 days or something, Nicole. I don't know what's going to happen, but that is a lot of presenters.
Yeah. So
I'm just excited because I get to hear all these people on all these podcasts.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the who's who of podcast guests that I listen to, and now I get to actually meet them all. That I'm super excited about that. Just to like be like, hey, hi, how you doing? But so much of the shift of the last decade in my life has been the education I've gotten from Living Free in Tennessee, from Spirko, people like that, and it's just really exciting to have that all come together in one spot.
Yeah,
you will love it. Oh, do I have time to share a quick community story, Nicole?
Yeah, you do. We got 5 minutes, and if we're still going, I'm gonna just disconnect the SOE channel so there's a half-hour buffer for sure before John goes live, because I do not want to be in his way.
No. So again, we're talking about the power community. You're saying how we're going to do connections at SRF, and people put their hands up.
Yeah.
So I had James Wesley Rawls on my show here a couple of 3 weeks ago, something. And he's the author of Patriots. And so I reached out to him and I thought, yeah, it'd be cool. If he'll come on, he will. Anyway, he got right back to me real quick. And he has a big audience behind him.
Yeah.
And so he said, send your links and I will share them on my website and on, my places. And so he did. And if you see Lone Canadian in here, so so James Wesley Rawls lives in Idaho, he shared it. This dude here found me through him, messaged me and said, hey, I think we live pretty close together. Didn't know who you were. We were less than half an hour apart. And I've been making, content for 4 years. He come down, spent the afternoon at the house drinking coffee with me. This is what happens. I reach out to a guy in Idaho who has been making, prepper fiction for 30 years. Get him on my show, interview him. He posts it to his survival blog. A local person whom I didn't know, we're very much like-minded, finds me through that. So that's the power of community, guys.
Excellent.
Yeah. And that is the purpose of SRF. We've got a lot going on that's cool. And I guarantee you there will be some subset of people who come and hang out at the campground and walk around and never stay through a whole session anywhere.
That'll be me.
That's fine. And that's not even discouraged. Like, I think people come because they hear about the sessions and those are cool. But what they find is a community of people who they can talk to for the first time. And for some people who've not come at all, it'll be the first time in years where it's like, whoa, I can actually talk to you about this stuff. And you're not like looking at me like I'm a bug. Sweet. So people don't want to leave when it's done.
It's tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep going, guys, and I get off of SOE, or what do you want to do?
I can go a little longer if you.
Okay.
I'm just gonna I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go next door for a split second.
I got about 10 more minutes or so, and then
That's fine. Yeah, that's cool. I bounced off SOE just so that John can do his thing. So, which probably ticked off about 40 people who were on John's. Sorry, guys.
Either they're like, forget that, or they're scrambling to another channel now. What channel did she say?
Well, I mean, a lot of those guys are waiting for him to go live at 9 o'clock, and sometimes he's live at 9:30. You never know. And it's, so they probably would hop over to stay on his channel anyway to see him live because he does his nightly live. So
I'm not gonna lie. I've heard him so much, and I just want to see that energy in person. I'm really looking forward to just because I know it's going to be just insane, electrical, like cool.
Yeah. Yep. So it will. He is an intense human being for sure.
Yeah.
And he moves quickly. The key to talking to John Willis is be prepared to walk fast.
Before I knew you were talking about John before I even heard you say the key to John Willis. Yeah, it's true. Grab him early in the morning, but he'll make time for you if you can catch him. He'll talk to you for a minute. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, Amanda's is awesome to talk to too because she's so concise.
Yes.
And I like that about her.
My absolute favorite part of any of these events, just walking and talking to absolutely everybody and anybody. And I will make sure that I can, I make time for absolutely everybody. That's my favorite part. It's just talking to people.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than connecting.
Yep. Not all of us. I'll hang out on Tim's till I see the SOE live up. Yeah, some people came back. You can go to the Self Reliance Festival channel. Okay. Warlike says, so what was that about not being able to multitask again, Nicole? I talk about this. I thought I was a great multitasker for many years, and then I was evaluated by an industrial psychologist for a job I had. And the way they explained how my brain works was that when I have multiple projects, we're back to the floating balls, John, I am very good at holding all of those balls up in the air by remembering what the status is, grabbing one down, doing something, and when I can't do something, putting it back up and taking another one. That's not multitasking. I am doing one thing at a time. I have actually learned that if I try to do two things at a time, nothing gets done well and things get mixed up. So I'm just pretty good at switching from item to item, but I can say the longer I'm in business for myself, the harder this becomes. So I feel like some of that is environmental. Like they made it seem like it was my nature to be this way, but I got evaluated by that same industrial psychologist 5 years later, and I had changed. And she said, "Did something dramatic or traumatic happen in your life?" And I was like,
Goats happened.
Just got older. I don't
know, but yes, like there's always something that you could call a trauma, but nothing like I didn't get attacked or raped or, divorced or any of those things. It was just, she was like, "Well, you've changed." So
one thing I want to ask, and I think we're all relatively kindred spirits. We all have a bit of an entrepreneurial bent, running our own things, right? But Tim, you touched on this right at the top of the call. The entrepreneur kind of skill set and the homesteader skill set is a pretty big overlap, Gantt circle wise, right? Where do you think, especially for people that may not have played in the entrepreneurial space, they haven't experienced or tried it out yet, what kind of things, like what kind of parallels do you see there that may be something that would either encourage someone to say, oh, one, I should think about doing my own business kind of thing, or two, oh, I do that all the time already and I could apply this in multiple other places?
Service. So I always talk, this is one of my things in my preparedness presentation, but I always say, walk into your garage, look up, look around, do a 360-degree spin and see what you have in there that can make you money. Because the two type of people that want to give you money are the people who don't want to do something and the people who can't do something. You want to work for the people who don't want to do something because they have the money to pay you to do it. But low skill service type things are a great way to get started. They're a really fun way to start making money. And I always joke, but dog poop pickup was one of my earliest things that I made a lot of money at. But, most anybody can mow a lawn. If you're not scared of heights, you could climb up a ladder and clean out gutters, or eaves troughs for Nicole, because she likes that.
Thank you. I like that term.
But, window washing.
Hey, baby, want to clean my gutters?
Yeah. Oh, there's a good one. Yes. Woo! Most people are garbage for other people. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be a handyman, but that might mean for a stay-at-home mom, maybe you're going to take in somebody's laundry 3 days a week and wash it, or make lunches for somebody. So you're going to make them, 5 or suppers. We did that for somebody one time. Make 5 suppers a week, freeze them, and have them ready. Just that kind of service. For me, yeah, David says, find the wealthy folks that don't want to do it. Yeah, the guy that wants to sit, on his boat or on the front porch of his cottage on the weekends will absolutely pay you for that. Warlike wants to know what province I'm in. I am in Alberta. I was going to say northern North Dakota, but yeah, no, Alberta.
Yeah, Jason says he makes $9,000 a month hauling trash. Exactly.
Wow, that's a
house
really
cleaning.
Yep.
Yeah, there house. Yeah,
I actually kind of want to hire somebody to do that here for the fall. Just throwing that out there.
I love how you started this. Walk into your garage and see what you have.
Sure.
Right? It's not because so many people are like, I can't do it because I don't have. It's a tool fallacy, right? I don't have this thing yet. And okay, do something else until you can buy that thing if you really need it.
Right. If you want to get into a 3D printing business and you don't have $500 to buy a 3D printer, then start a lemonade stand. You might say, I hate lemonade. Well, so what? Just look at it as an end to the means, or means to the end. Sorry. Yeah. So go sell 3,000 cups of lemonade and take your $500 and buy your 3D printer. Do something you absolutely hate that you can make a bunch of money at, and then take that money and turn it into something great.
Yep.
And also multiple revenue streams, right? Even if that thing that you hate is, I got laid off last August and I just went, the job market was abysmal. The first thing was, I kind of was not really thrilled with my old job. So the first thing I did, I was just like freelance. I had some great friends that, needed work and were happy to collaborate. So I wasn't really worried about getting a job because I had work going on. And then finally in December, I said, I'm not looking for a job anymore. I'm back to doing this full time. But, that was a revenue stream that I'd kind of kept running for 25 years, little teeny bit there while I was doing full-time work. And so I had, and I mean, I've done projects with Nicole and the same thing. You know, we worked on a big site. What was that? 5 years ago now? Was it that long ago?
No, I don't think so. 4?
COVID messes me up with timelines. There's this big blob.
It was pre-COVID. It was probably 2018 would be my guess.
But, you know, but having those multiple revenue streams, right? And so it's like, I hate this thing, but I could always go back and do it. Like if the 3D printing thing, if I can't get parts, if nobody's ordering anything for 2 months, I know I can go clear whatever, $9K a month hauling trash. I'm still amazed. That's awesome.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nicole.
I saw this question. John, if you have to drop off, just like ghost us if we're on a thing. Erica was asking, where do I find information for campground for October events? So your ticket includes camping on the SOE campground campus. It is tent camping only there. His ground does not support people driving on it. People have brought like buses and vans and parked, because we have a parking lot at the entrance to SOE, but it's on somebody else's property. There were a group of people there parked for the event. There are campgrounds nearby that you can rent a space, and it has like heated bathrooms and showers if you want to do that. All of that is at selfreliancefestival.com. Scroll down to the bottom of that page and you'll see an FAQ, and there is a list of lodging in the FAQ there. So that'll just link you with other camp areas. And if I could buy a lot right next door to SOE and make a like pull-in camper campground, I totally would. But I haven't found one yet.
My lot's like
that
40
was the price
away.
I wanted to pay. There was actually one for sale. I was like, should I buy that? John's like, nope. Here's why.
Yes, I wish we'd have bought just a little bit closer, but it was the best we found, and we had it's still a great spot. We got some work to turn it into somewhere where some campers can get in, but definitely there'll be tent camping there over the years for sure.
Yep. So Jason says, I have 300 customers, $30 a month. Yep.
Yeah. Here's another one. We have those gray bins that you push out to the road. You know, they hold maybe 10 garbage bags if you push them down in. They get really rank and really stinky. And for a few years, I've always been thinking, you know what? I bet I could make money just getting people on a retainer, going and cleaning them once a month or once every 3 months, you know, or twice a summer, something like that. And, you know, $25 a pop, you get 100 of those, you do it once a month, that's $2,500 a month right there. We've got about 800 houses in town, so you'd only need 12% of all the houses to make $2,500 a month. Who couldn't use an extra $2,500 a month? I know I could. I'd take it.
Yep.
Multiple streams. We were talking about multiple streams, and that in the handyman business that actually just sold, signed the paperwork yesterday, got the check today. Finally, that was a huge deal for us. But that was our thing for many years, was multiple revenue streams. You know, we'd grass in the summer, window cleaning, snow removal, and then it kind of turned into, oh my goodness, property management's huge for us. So that's been ours now. But you know, I've got my property management. I have my content creation. We have, we're working on 2 different daycares at this point. So yes. And the other thing you mentioned about little side hustles. So if you started that, I mean, this is going to be a simplistic kind of illustration, but if you started and you got really good at building lemonade stands and making money with that, but you went on to the 3D printing and all of a sudden the 3D printing market dried up, you have that could ramp up. And that's why I said people should have at least a taste of entrepreneurship, because if you have a side hustle that you work 10 hours a week at and you're making, I don't know, $800 a week, and all of a sudden you go into work tomorrow and your boss says, yeah, I got in a fight with my wife last night. We're getting a divorce. The business is going poop, and you're gone, right? Well, guess what? That 10% business that you were making, the little side hustle, it's way easier to ramp that up than it is to start something from scratch out of desperation. So that's why I say everybody should have a taste of it, because then at least you can get going, and maybe if shit goes sideways, you can make some money at it.
Oh, completely. And yeah, I mean, I know I've heard Jack talk about this. I've heard other people talk about this. I think John Willis says this all the time too. Just you can go out and make money. It is not hard to make money. It takes work, it takes effort, and it takes intent. But there's a lot of ways to do that. And if just, being able to figure that out is crucial. And the best time to start was yesterday, right? The whole, that famous outage. But if you have it, like you said, Tim, if you have it, even if it's in hibernation mode, right? Then it's like, okay, I know I've got my business license in place. I know what I need to do with this thing. Well, like, what do I need accounting wise? What do I need, resource wise? Do I need to run over to Walmart and pick up 5 different little consumables that are, I had one from 2 years ago, but it's been sitting in the barn now and it's separated out or whatever. If those kind of things that you can't maintain indefinitely. That's the kind of stuff, just knowing that and being like, boom. Because I've seen so many people in LinkedIn right now with the design world. I haven't been able to I've been looking for a job for whatever, 8-9 months. I've applied to 2,000 jobs and I've only had 6 interviews.
It might be time to try something different.
Might be.
Like, heck, I remember, just like go find a nonprofit in town and do a project for them.
Right.
Like, are you really enjoying filling out Workday things where you upload your resume and then have to fill your whole thing out again by hand because it's the shittiest system known to man? Or
so true.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Come on, dude, go get your hand, because you're going to make connections. You're going to build your network, and then those people are going to refer you to other people. But no, you sat there and you're just looking at the job thing, and that, I remember, before when I was trying to seriously do the job, it's depressing. You're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you're applying, and nothing's happening. And yeah, it sucks. But that was one of the reasons to pull the ripcord. Just go do something. Bias to action, right? I'd much rather be out there doing something and working 12-hour days, banging my head against the wall, but doing it.
That's what I tell a lot of people when they're starting that side hustle. So say you give yourself 10 hours a week, right? And that's going to be my 10 hours. Well, you know what? Those first few months, you might not have 10 hours of work a week. Hopefully you do, but you might not. But if you've already set those 10 hours aside, start working on skills or, YouTube University, learn how to wash windows, learn how to cut grass, learn how to, trim your hedges, Nicole. Yeah. I think that's another way.
Maybe you want to trim my hedges.
Yeah.
My shrubs.
We got at least 5 or 6 more to go with.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I do have to bounce, but it was great hanging with you all tonight, and I look forward to hanging with you in Camden.
We'll see you in person, scything and maybe musicking.
Yes. Not at the same time.
Not at the same time. No. No, definitely not. Have a good night, John.
Hey, good night, y'all.
See you, John.
Yeah. So PH Info 101 says maybe somebody should talk with John and restructure his property that's just down the road from the compound. Actually, that property is available for people to park their campers on because it's just a big flat parking lot. Nobody ever has.
Huh.
That was our original plan. But then, people wanted to be closer, I guess. Yeah.
So the property that's for sale around there is not worth.
Okay, so here's the deal on the properties for sale, because I think Grumpy or Yoda was asking about that too.
Yeah.
I saw a for sale sign across the street. I'm like, John, what's the deal with that? And he's like, well, that guy wants way too much money. I didn't ask him how much. He said the problem is they're widening the highway, and like that lot's just going to get destroyed.
Right.
And so he's selling something that you're going to lose because they're taking it for the road, and they're not taking it and paying you. They're just taking it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. So is John going to lose a little bit of his or not?
He's going to lose a lot of his. Like, they just went up there, cut out a bunch of trees and marked out what they're going to take, and he lost his whole upper swale, basically.
Oh, and they're not I'm sure it's under eminent domain or whatever, but so they're not paying anything or very little?
I don't know why. I don't know if it was already acquired through eminent domain or if it's that the road owns this much from the center of the road and you can pound sand if you don't like it.
That's what I was wondering.
I don't know, because the road's already there. And I didn't really dig deeply into it because it's not my property.
Yeah.
But,
I get it.
He was,
Dave
100 feet of John's front. It's a lot. And
wow,
like,
it is.
Yeah. So, and for a highway with hardly any traffic on it, like there's no reason to widen it, really.
No, there is.
Even during SRF, there's not a lot of traffic on it. We are basically selling out every Airbnb and hotel room in the area.
Absolutely.
So,
And it's,
yeah.
yeah, I like the Best Western there. That's if anybody's looking. We've already got ours booked this time, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, David Sigler said 6 weeks to road trip. Well, my road trip's in 2 weeks. Mine starts in 2 weeks, and I'm going through Illinois and then down to prepper camp and then up to. We're both going to be at Midwest Preparedness, right? Yeah, which is awesome. And then I get about 10 days to work on my land in Tennessee, and then finishing it up at Self Reliance Festival, which is kind of cool.
And then you're going homeward bound.
Mm-hmm. We did have a trip to Hawaii booked, and then we canceled it with all the craziness going on. And then I seen Sean was there. I was like, oh, maybe we could have went.
Well, you could go to the Bahamas instead.
Facebook user says Illinois. Yes. Nate and Aaron of Two Chicks Homestead. They are gracious enough. They're putting me up at their place for a couple of nights. And we decided to do a workshop / Two Chicks Homestead get together. Hinckley. So if you're not, I don't know if I can't share a link in here tonight, but if you come over to the workshop Telegram group, what is it?
Are you not allowed to put in comments?
I never joined the.
You never joined the thing.
Asked me to join the chat. Nah, it's okay. But if you and any one of my YouTube videos, you can grab the Telegram link, or I can share it to you, Nicole, in the private, and you can share it if you want.
Okay. Well, so if you go to livingfreeintennessee.com, and on the side so if you look at my page on the phone, you have to scroll through the first couple of posts, and then it has events. If it's on your computer, on the right-hand side, I have events. Second event down is your meetup on September 16th at Two Chicks Homestead. And it has a link to the Telegram chat where the details are being discussed and where you can get the actual address, because I just put the town down for that. So if you're wanting to try to do that, check it out here. Aaron's probably going to kill me now because I just put this out on a live stream. I talked about it on my podcast, though, too.
Oh, yeah. I've got, and there's a super secret piece of swag that only people who meet up at workshop events in 2023 get. So, and there was only 100 of them, and I want to make sure those 100 are gone by the end of Self Reliance Festival. So come and see me and you'll get one.
Yes.
Jason wants to know if the snowbird's coming down for SRF. Absolutely.
Who does he mean?
I assume he means me, I think.
Okay. If he means Ed, then not for this one that I've heard of. I mean, Ed's welcome anytime, but he kind of told me it's more of a once a year thing for him.
Sure. I'm seriously considering coming back down for the March one. I won't guarantee it yet, but I'm thinking about coming down since I don't have to do snow. I'd really love to shorten my winter.
I don't know if we're going to get SRF kids together this time, the kids program. Your wife was kind enough to give me a whole agenda for that. And it's because we don't have space booked already. So for it, because we were going to do it off of the SOE compound, but nearby.
Yes.
So I think I'm finding out tomorrow if there's space available, and then we figure out if we do Self-Reliance Kids. If not, though, we're aiming for March for Self-Reliance Kids.
So here's the thing, and Becky won't say this yet, but she might not make it to SRF in October. I'm going to be there 100%, but she's literally opening a brand new daycare 10 days before SRF. I keep telling her she needs to decide, and she might be listening. She'll bust my balls later, but don't be disappointed, anybody, if she can't make it, because there is a lot going on for her right now. But I am 100% there. I leave in, I guess.
Yeah, if you no-show, I'm going to punch you in the nose.
I'm not no-showing. I mean, unless I'm, something. Yeah, no. I'm coming. I know you. Yeah, I won't.
I've now threatened you on the internet, so I can probably be arrested if I actually punch you in the nose. They'll be like, you threatened it on YouTube.
So Thursday before Self Reliance Festival, we are having a workday / workshop get together at my property in Tennessee as well, which is going to be really cool. I'm excited about that too, because there's a lot of people coming in town ahead of time, and there's nothing quite like getting everybody together.
Yeah, it's fun. I like to do that too here.
Yeah, well, you kind of inspired me when you came up to, was it Missoula or Washington, or where were you when you came up and did a Living Free get together?
Oh, and it was in Spokane, Washington, and it was because I went to Paul Wheaton's, and I was like, well, I'm going to be in Spokane anyway. Let's do a meetup. And I already knew a couple of people who lived in that area, so Yeah.
Becky and I spent the night in Spokane a couple of months ago. It's a city. It's not bad, but you're used to Washington, aren't you? Because you kind of grew up in that area a bit.
Well, I grew up in Portland, Oregon area.
Is that
so?
I've never been in Oregon yet. So
Spokane's not close to Portland, but it's, like I think it's a 5-hour drive from Portland, if I remember. I could be wrong. It could be 3 hours, but I feel like it's 5. 5 seems to be a magic number for where things are. And I was flying to Montana. The ticket prices to go into Missoula were through the roof, and it was less expensive by $1,000 or $2,000. I can't remember how much now, but it was over $1,000 cheaper for me to fly to Spokane and drive 2 hours to where I was going.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I guess I'm going for a drive.
And it's not a bad drive, We drove that exact stretch when I was at the Thrivalist Fair there a couple months ago. But yeah, I didn't mind it. I enjoyed Washington for the short time I was there, and it was, it has its rough areas in Spokane. But Tori, the Wandering Ma, lives there, so that makes it better.
She was at the meet. She actually kind of took over the making of the meetup happening.
Good. So, we had an impromptu meetup with her at the Golden Corral, so that was fun. Yeah.
So cool. All right. Well, is it time for us to wrap?
Sure. Let's wrap her up.
Okay, let's wrap. Wrap it up. What do you got at the end?
Yeah. So, guys, if you haven't bought your tickets yet for Self Reliance Festival, you really absolutely need to do that. It's going to be one hell of an event, and I'm not just saying this because this year I will have spoke at 5 different events. Been to 5 different events. One of them I can't say yet because I haven't been there, but all of the other ones, there is something incredibly special about Self Reliance Festival. It is when you find your people, and you will find your people there. There is power in that. And I was telling somebody the other night, 18 months ago, roughly, or a little less, at last year's spring workshop. It was the first one we ever went to, and that changed Becky's life. I mean, I knew all you guys. You were still my imaginary internet friends, but I knew you really existed. But that power of sitting together, walking down the hill the last night, and we both had tears in our eyes because we knew we had to leave everybody behind, and we fell in love with it so much that we bought land down there. So I'm not saying you'll buy land down there, but if you can afford it and you can make it there for, what is it, $90, $100?
$95 for a ticket, and includes camping on site.
It will change your life, and I'm not exaggerating. It absolutely will change your life. So I don't want to hear any excuses. There was somebody a couple of months ago when I was on here, and I told them I'd buy them their ticket, just reach out to me. And guess what? They never did. So, it is what it is. Don't make excuses. Just be there, because it will absolutely change your life.
As an introvert, I'm like, hey, I want to go to the thing, but I don't want to go to the thing because then I'll have to see people.
Yes.
And what I learned coming into our network is that I want to go to the thing, and it doesn't make me tired to be around the people. Well, it does make me tired ultimately, but I get energized around people, because what happens at these events is the people I'm talking to say words, and the words have meanings. And then their body also says words, like your body language explains how you think. And the words they say match what their body says, which is unlike most of society. Part of why I find it difficult or exhausting to be in large groups of people is most people are lying to me most of the time.
That's a good point.
And I find that exhausting because I'm constantly looking at it, right? And that's not what happens at these. Yeah, no vampires around, no energy vampires. And so if you're like, budding yourself about this, but it sounds kind of exciting, but you're like, I can't afford it, or reach out to me if you can't afford your ticket too, because I'd like to know that. I'd like to know who that is. But I also think that making space for things like this in your life it's like making a decision to change your life. You're making a decision to expand your network. And Rosie says, it has changed my life for the better. Yeah, I hope to see her again soon. But it's just life-changing, and it's hard to explain why until you go there and let it change your life. You got to be ready for it, though. And if you're not ready, don't come.
It's a way to bring it all the way back around to where we started tonight. As far as the poverty mindset goes, it is a way to kind of supercharge your brain, or there's something, it'll switch. It'll turn that, if you're looking to get that switch turned on, it will turn that switch on, and you might not realize it. You might see it, but it might take a few days for when you get home, because you're going to leave motivated. You might be exhausted, but there's whatever the thing is you're thinking about doing, it's going to motivate you to do it, and you won't be able to get away from it.
Yep. It's absolutely true. So, I mean, I don't know. Most of the people in the stream have already bought their tickets. I'm seeing who they are. Or
sure,
like Letty just had a baby, so she's not coming to this one. She's coming to a different one. It makes more sense. But and I want to clear something up about camping, because I'm getting this question a lot. I will change the FAQ on the website. If you're coming to the pre-workshop Zero to Hero, you can camp starting Wednesday night, which is the night before the workshop. And if you are staying for the chicken processing workshop with Joel Salatin, Joel's going to kick us off with a demo, and then we're walking you through hands-on processing chickens. So you are processing chickens at that. It's not just showing you how, it's doing it, which is much more important. Yes, you can stay Sunday night in the campground. Somebody actually just emailed me that question, who just bought their ticket for the poultry processing workshop. And I'm like, oh yeah, good point. We need to make that a little bit more clear so people know how their lodging is handled. Anyway, just another FAQ since this is on the SRF channel. Okay, Tim, well, thanks for being with me tonight. I appreciate you being willing to get crazy on a Thursday here.
Yeah, you know me. I'm always willing to be a little bit crazy, even, yeah.
Yeah, that's which is good.
On the other hand, you have different fingers. Yes, you do, David Ziegler. Yes, you do.
What did he say?
He said, on the other hand, you have different fingers, unless, of course, you were, suffered a horrible industrial accident, and then you might be making fun of somebody. So,
yeah, you never make fun of people.
Never. No. I make fun of myself. My yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the chat. I appreciate it as always.